What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uberkooledgarage. On this week's episode, we're going to be hopping back into the bug, getting the rear of the chassis all set up. Started figuring stuff out. The Gia stuff is coming. I have been out of town all week for work. Ended up staying out of town over all week, so wasn't able to work on the Gia at all this week. Still waiting on parts, so as soon as those come in, the Gia should be basically wrapped up. Still working on the clutch stuff, so I just need to figure out what's going on there, why the clutch isn't disengaging. I did end up grabbing another clutch disc, and I will check and see if the thicknesses are different. If they are, I might throw in this other disc, and then I will also go ahead and measure out the throwout bearing distance, make sure all that stuff's good. So I'm going to work on that this week. I'm gonna finish up all the little things and all that, so I don't think I'll be out of town this week coming up, so I'm gonna jam on the Gia as much as possible. But for now, let's hop back into the bug and hope you guys enjoy. Today was a good day. I got a lot of the parts in for the bug. Went ahead and picked up 3 8-foot sticks of aluminum for the bug. Also picked up a sheet of aluminum for my radiator fan shroud. So I'll measure that out, take it to work, put it in the press brake, get that all situated, cut my fan holes in that, and then I should have a little bit left over for some little parts if I ever need them. Also got a new coolant tank, so that'll go into the coolant system. It'll be the highest point in the system. That way it makes it easier to fill. Also got a brand new starter for the Subaru Trans. Also got a cheap overflow tank for the radiator system, so no more Gatorade bottles for me. Then this is a new slave cylinder for the clutch. So after this stuff, the only thing left on the Trans is the drive flanges, and then after that, transmission's done, which means I can bolt the flywheel and clutch onto the motor, made it to the transmission, and we should be looking pretty darn good. And then I got this big box. So as you can see there, those are some QA1s. So I got my coilovers. So there's a coil. There's another coil. And another coil. And then these should be, got some pretty cool QA1 stickers, which is awesome. This I'm not 100% sure on if I'm going to use or not. I was thinking might use this for a throttle linkage, maybe. It actually ended up being a lot smaller than I was expecting it to be, so I'll find something to do with this. So we'll see. I kind of had an idea in mind, but this is way too small. It doesn't look like it's gonna do what I need it to. So back to the game plan on that. This is going to be for the shift linkage back on the trans. This will sit on the transmission basically like this. Shift cable will come in here and then hook up to the shift linkage on the trans, and that'll act as a pivot. So that's pretty cool that that came in. And then I got my shocks. So these are super fancy. Came as a full kit. All the bushings, all of that. And then we got, looks like the sleeves that go into the actual, yeah, these are the sleeves that go into the actual coilover themselves. So super excited about this. So it's pretty much need to order the suspension stuff for the rear, and then start building the front suspension stuff. Get the coilovers in there. These ones are adjustable, which is super nice. So I can put these together and start doing suspension stuff. And we have a mounted motor. So you saw me tack weld the plates down here on both sides. So those are stock motor mounts with all of the rubber boots and everything cut off, ground down. It's all nice and smooth. So that gets welded into a 1 5/8 120 wall, and then that welds to the rear hoop. And then the trans mount is a factory trans mount as well. All of the rubber's cut off of that. So this will get welded, and then I'll probably add in a gusset or two, and then it also will end up getting a gusset underneath that welds the center as well. Back here I'll end up doing some gussets that come out this way on both sides. I do want to make the motor and trans removable. So what's gonna end up happening is this pipe here will get cut, and then this pipe right here will get cut, and then I will have I'll show you guys that when it comes, but basically I'm gonna have that section of the cage bolt in. Same thing on the rear. That way if I ever have to remove the motor and trans, or even just the motor, I can unbolt this section here. It'll come out with the motor mounts and all of that. And then the motor will scoot forward and drop straight out of the car. If I have to remove both, I'll just remove this section and that section. The motor will slide forward a little bit and the whole thing will drop out of the car. without actually really unbolting too much. Pretty much just have to unbolt the axles and maybe the up pipe and turbo, and possibly intercooler piping, and that's pretty much it. The wiring harness I'm gonna remove with the actual engine. That way it's just a one bulkhead connector. Will take care of basically all this, maybe two. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna go with yet, but I'm gonna make this thing as easy to come out as possible. I don't want to have to pull the body or pull the rear suspension or any of that to get this thing out. So I also have a transmission jack that I'm going to modify that will bolt to this cross beam here and the cross beam in the back. That way, if I ever need to pull it, I just slide my transmission jack underneath. It'll grab both of those points, hold it where it needs to go, and I can lower it down from there, which would be really nice. I won't have to have a cherry picker or anything like that. So another couple bars that you saw me add was these two here. So I have a kicker there and a kicker right here. Those will get gusseted as well. Now that I have my motor mounts in, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting the rest of the tubes in. I have one that goes from up here down to the corner, from the corner up to the A pillar or B pillar, and then from there I can start figuring out where I can run my upper control arm tubes. That way they're not in the way of the turbo system or intercooler piping or any of that. So this motor is going to come out. I'm going to completely set up my motor again, get the flywheel clutch on. I'll clean up the trans, clean up the motor, get all that stuff repainted nice and clean, put all that stuff together, and then pretty much put that in the car and start working on it from there. And then motor will come out, body will come off, and I fully weld up the cage and get it painted. So we're getting pretty darn close, guys. Okay, so the motor's all mounted up. I got all the engine mounts in. I went ahead and swapped my motor into it. The red cord that's hanging up is my throttle cable. I wanted to see if it actually was able to flex enough to bend down and then go up and in, and it works great. Of course, there's some adjustments and stuff that I have to do to it. As you can see here, I have the turbo sitting here. The up pipe, I'm gonna change the up pipe quite a bit. You can kind of see that this bolt is the corner of the up pipe right now. The up pipe's sitting roughly in this general area. So I'm gonna change the up pipe completely. I'll make a new one. I will cut my V-band off for the external wastegate and re-weld it onto the new pipe. So I have the boost pipe right here. You can see right here, this bar is going to come down from here and tag into here. So I just wanted to make sure that the boost pipe isn't going to be in the way of that, or actually the bar isn't going to be in the way of the boost pipe. So it looks like it's going to work out all right. The air filter I just have sitting on there, this air filter is actually going to sit in the scoop that's in the side of the car, right in front of the rear fenders. So this will be a 4-inch pipe that comes down and sits down there, and the filter will sit down there. And then rear suspension is going to come off of this bar, kick towards the transmission, and then bend out and follow the transmission back. that works out good. That was one of the reasons why I put my motor in here, just to see kind of roughly where the up pipe's going to sit. That way, when I do build the suspension bar, it's not going to end up right in the up pipe. So exhaust is going to be a little bit different on this one than what I originally had, which is more than okay. It's actually going to add a little bit of pipe. Not much, but it'll add in a little bit of pipe. So that'll work out pretty darn good. Gonna start building these bars and the diagonal bars that go here. And we will start getting all this rear suspension stuff set up. That way when it comes time, we can start building rear suspension. Okay, so got all these bars in. They turned out really good. So I have the D bars left to do. One more door bar, and then I need the harness bar. And then I'm gonna do another bar back here. This one here that's attached to the body will get cut out. So I think with these ones, I'm going to do something along the lines of this. This is just a rough cut, so don't mind the gap here. I think I'm going to do something like this here. That way it tags the lower into that. So the cool thing about this is it misses the up pipe. It'll give me a section to weld onto here for the upper bar. That'll come all the way across, and that will be an upper A-arm support rail. So that'll come across that way, and then I will probably have a bar that runs from here up to here. That way it triangulates this on both sides, and then this down here will get more support as well from those. So one from there to there, and then one from this bar back to that bar on both sides. Give me plenty of room to maneuver all of my exhaust piping and all of that stuff. So it'll work out really good. Give me A-arm supports for uppers and lowers, and we'll go ahead and get those cut. And then unfortunately I have to order, I think, 2 more sticks of roll cage piping, and I think I'm going to order the A-arms as well while I'm at it. That way I will have rear suspension, front suspension, and basically the roll cage is done after that. And then I can start adding in all my tabs and stuff where I need all my tabs. You know, fuel line tabs, couple of panel tabs that go across here, some that go over here. So quite a few tabs to do all over the car, seat tabs, stuff like that. So once I get all those in where I need them, then I can pull the body off, fully weld the cage, and get it painted. And then it's time to start working on the body. Finish up the body. It's pretty darn close. The biggest issue is obviously the carbon on the passenger side door and rear quarter, but that won't take too long as soon as I get the carb in. So the actual car itself is starting to come along. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you this week. The person that asked me about the wiring harness on the Ghia from Auto Ventures, I will do a rundown video next video before we get into the Ghia stuff. For everybody else who has messaged me, thank you for the messages. I'm sorry if I have not got back to you on a couple things yet, so I will get back to you here in the next day or two. Things have just been absolutely insanely busy. Work has been crazy. I've been working a ton of hours last week. One of my coworkers is out, so it's just me. So boss has been putting me with all the extra slack. So we will hop back into the Ghia next week. Hopefully get that thing completely done. Hopefully the parts come in, so then we can bring in the next one and go ahead and finish the bug. Well, get further along on the bug, and then we'll start jamming on that too. So we will see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.